Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of a single mom or being a single mom or a single mom series. Today we're going to talk about dating as a single mom. So let's just jump right into that and get that started.
Tell me how you feeling when you hear the lyric, yeah.
So I'm a single mom of two girls, 9-year-old and 7-year-old. I've been a single mom for about 5 years or so now, or probably a little bit longer. I need to really check that out. And I have been on a few dates, and I've actually been in full-time relationships. Now, I have had those dates or organized those dates organically, but I've also organized dates that I've used dating apps. So let's talk about dating apps. So I've used 3 different types of dating apps: OKCR, Tinder, and Bumble. OKC and Tinder are really like hookups kind of things. Like, the guys there are really forceful and very abrasive, and they're not looking for relationships, at least the ones I've found. I've heard stories of persons finding long-lasting relationships on these platforms, but I have not been that fortunate. I have realized that it's not a place for me. I've gone on it a couple times. I've been on it and off of it a couple times to see if the environment or the aesthetic of things has changed, and it hasn't, so I've decided not to go back on it. Somebody told me to look at Bumble, and I did recently, and I started using Bumble for dating, and it's really a lot different. The interface is very comfortable. You can, swipe left, swipe left, swipe right kind of thing. And if you want to, when you make a connection, you can reach out to the person first, and they have 24 hours to respond to you, and it's really a lot different. The conversations are really a lot more mature. It's a lot easier to kind of communicate. You feel a lot more comfortable. The app also makes you feel safe. So it asks you, what would you like your first date to be like, whether it's going to be completely virtual, video call, or calling over the phone, or it's going to be something that you meet up physically. So the person who you're actually finding out or dating, you guys can agree on what you're gonna do, and it's a lot more comfortable to deal with something like that. So for me, I absolutely love that. When it comes down to dating and using dating apps to date, I have a couple of precautions that I use. I ensure that I try to get their full government name. I say this to a friend. I send a location to where I'm going to be. I tell somebody, whoever's staying with my kids, I let them know what's going on. I have them meet the helper or the babysitter or my sister, whoever is staying with my kids at the time. I have them come in and meet that person, not come into the house, like they meet me at the car or at the veranda, that kind of thing. Choosing somebody to date, now this is going to be completely up to you. It's up to what you want, what your standards are, what your kids are going to be comfortable with, your criteria and parameters for dating. For me, I'm 38 years old. I've been married before. I have 2 children, 7 and 9, and I'm looking for a relationship, a partnership, business partnership, emotional, financial, physical attraction and partnership in somebody who wants something long-term. I'm not into flings. I don't want adulting experience. I want to have a relationship, and I make that clear. I may not be this overt with it, but I make it clear that and if they ask, I'll tell them, like, no, I'm not looking for a fling. I'm not somebody who you can come to with that kind of thing. You can. I'm just gonna tell you no. Right, so when it comes down to your criteria, that's how you kind of set your parameters to when you want to date. You have to also take into consideration that this person is going to be dating your kids through you too. So you look for things like they're concerned with your children, they're asking how they're doing and their well-being, how you're coping as a mom, how you're handling that kind of stuff. And when it gets to the point where they know the kids, then it's how they interact with the kids. So let's talk about now knowing the kids. I do not believe it's safe or okay to bring everybody you're dating around your kids. That's not something I do. And I mean bring them around in the sense that the kids know that this person is someone that you're involved with. Now, they can meet this person from day one if you want them to, but my suggestion to you is to introduce them as Tom. John, Ben. They're just Ben, they're just John, they're just Tom. They're just another person, because kids will meet persons and people all the time. They're socializing, they're growing, they're going to school, they have their teachers and other adults that they come into contact with. It's not strange for kids to meet people. So meeting people, hey guys, this is Ben, he's a friend of mine, Ben, these are my kids, and Ben will talk to them and we'll go out together. Or you go out with Ben and a friend, or a friend and her kids, or you have a group setting, you have something at your house or something out at the park, or you have a virtual party setting or something that the kids don't misunderstand what's going on, because Ben doesn't stick around. Then you're gonna have to explain to the kids what's going on here. And then if they keep seeing different persons, it really does trigger something. Sometimes it won't do a thing, but sometimes it might leave them thinking that this is the way life is supposed to be, and nothing is wrong with dating for the rest of your life if that's the thing you want to do. But you have to leave it open to, I believe, let your children choose whether or not they want that lifestyle. Don't show them that is the only option that they have. When it gets further down into the relationship, you have to assess for yourself when is the best time that you can introduce Ben to your kids as Ben the boyfriend, and now he's stepdaddy Ben or Uncle Ben or whatever, and Ben is coming over for dinner, and Ben is kissing you goodbye, and Ben is staying over, and that kind of stuff. You have to introduce them to the kids like that. I actually had a conversation. I've dated one guy since the kid's father and I have split, and I sat down with the kids and I asked them what they thought of him, if they liked him, what they didn't like, if they're comfortable with him coming there. And then he brought them out on a date without me, which was, you know, I trusted him, and if he's gonna be around my kids, then I can trust him to take them somewhere. So he took them out to the car wash. I mean, he was gonna wash his car, and he brought them to the car wash, and he brought them snacks and juice, and he sat and talked to them, and he had a good jolly old time with them. So where that's concerned, you know, I did it that way. And we had a conversation, the guy and I had a conversation about, you know, how we're going to do this, how we're going to go about it, and I had to take into consideration all of that. I also had a conversation briefly with their father that there's going to be a name that you're going to hear, and this is the person, and he's somebody that I'm involved with. Now, if it's a toxic relationship and it's going to cause a problem, I suggest you don't do that. Or if you're broad like me and you don't care, you just tell him what you're doing, and you know, he just has to respect it. You're moving on, and both of you are moving on, so you just have to understand that's where things are for right now. So where that's concerned, when it comes on to introducing them, there's two ways. Introduce them like a regular old guy, and then when it gets serious. And when you introduce them as a regular old guy, there's no touching or affection or flirting, because kids would pick up on those things. He's really just a friend. He's just somebody who the kids know that, you know, that you are introducing them to, and you just leave it at that. Settings for dating. Now, this also depends on what you're into. You want to do fun things. I would not wear something like this on a first date, because, you know, the cleavage is cut down low. It's a very short dress. It's you know, it's like tiger print or leopard print, and it's really kind of sexy. So this would be I'm feeling you, I'm ready to take you to that next level kind of dress. This is definitely not a date one dress. So I suggest you do something low-key. Do lunch, do breakfast, go for coffee, go for early lunch or early dinner. Do something. I live in the Caribbean, I live in Jamaica, so we do there's a lot of daytime activity. We can go to a beach club and have lunch. We can have breakfast at a coffee shop. We can do a seaside fish fry. We can do attractions, horseback riding. We can do going for tours and that kind of thing. So there's a bunch of things that we can do together. I don't think going to the movies is really a date, because you don't get to have a conversation. Going to the movies would be more of when you guys have had your first kiss and you've gotten to that place, so you do the cuddling and the canoodling in the movie together and be all young and in love kind of thing. But when it comes on to dating, the first couple of dates, you want to keep it very sporty and low-key and fun. Don't suggest you invite anybody over to your home for the first date unless you know them for a while, and you know it's like a long time, somebody you've known before, you've had a conversation with him and you're comfortable in that space, and the kids aren't around. I've had situations that I've been asked out on a date along with my kids. Like a guy has dated me and my girls in tandem. He's never invited me out and not brought us somewhere that the girls could go. So he would bring us to the beach and the girls would be in the water, and then we'll be on the sand eating lunch and they'll be having fun. He's brought us to, you know, play games and that kind of stuff. He's brought us to different attractions so the girls can enjoy the whole thing. And you know, he really tried to bond with all of us at the same time. I guess he really wanted to see how it really worked, and it made sense. So you have to have your standards and have what you're looking for in the quality of a guy. And even with all those great things that he did with my kids, he's not the guy I wanted to be with because there were other factors that were in place. So when you're dating too, you have to understand that even though you want your kids to be comfortable, it's really 98% about you. It's really all about what you really need, what you can live with, because your kids will grow up and move out and find their own lives, and then you will be left with somebody who really liked your children more than they liked you. I don't know, but I feel like, and I've been caught in that. I've been caught in guys who are really concerned and very interested and hands-on with my kids, and I like that, but they weren't great with me. So you have to consider that as well. You will be faced with situations that the guy's great with you, but he really is not interested in your kids. And you can hope for him to eventually change that, but I doubt that he will. So that's something that you have to also consider. When it comes on to, say, sex, it gets to the part that you guys are having sex or want to have sex after you start dating, this becomes also a concern. I am a single parent. I live at home with my girls. I don't want to leave my girls here with somebody in the night to go and have sex with a guy for the night. So I tend to do that kind of thing if I'm starting something new, or when I started something new. I try to get those kinds of things in during the day when they went to school. Or on holidays, I would send them to their dads or to my mom, and I'd have some time away with the guy and date. And I tend to ramp up my dating in the summer and Christmas when the girls are off school and they are able to go with other family, because I don't want to displace them. I don't want to run them away or push them away because I want to date. It's a natural occurrence for a family for them to go to spend time. I have done the sneak in guys through my back door and sneak them out at 5 o'clock in the morning because, girl, sometimes a single mom just has to have some. So nothing is wrong with that. Listen, you're not perfect. It's not about the kids, it's about you. You've been in a relationship, it didn't work out, you had some kids after that. Doesn't mean your life has to stop. You have to have fun. I have had adulting situations, flings and that kind of thing earlier on when I just moved out of the relationship and I didn't want to get into anything more serious or make a commitment. That would be something that I wasn't ready for. So I did do adulting things, and I did go for overnight stays at guys that I was dating or having a thing with, so they wouldn't come here, snuck them into the house, stuck them out, that kind of thing. From the minute you have kids, sex for you changes. You can't be all screamy and loud in your 20s like you used to be. You have to really hold your shit down, or get soundproof walls and curtains that do, you know, shh, kind of thing. So dating definitely can be fun. It's definitely possible. Just set your parameters.